So you're going to get your chance to test yourself against Dublin in just a couple of weeks' time, heading to Croke Park for the first round of the Super 8s. Firstly, with all the controversy that's gone on this week about Kildare having to give up home advantage and then eventually getting the game in Newbridge, it turned attention to the Super 8s and Dublin having 2 home games at Croke Park. Now, it seems the fixtures, when it went through Congress, was that one game, the first round of fixtures, would be a Croke Park weekend, essentially, that it wasn't a neutral venue, it was a Croke Park weekend, regardless of whether people see it as Dublin's home ground or not. Do you feel he should be going to Croke Park, or really, for the fairness and integrity of the competition, should it be in Clonus? Should it be a neutral venue?
Well, listen, Nathan, looking at it, it's basically it's meant to be one away and one at home and one at a neutral venue. I suppose from a Donegal perspective, we're ending up playing 2 away games, and Dublin will have two home games, and through no fault of their own. It's not a case of Dublin. This is what was laid out. But I think, for all 8 teams, it's got to be the one playing field, and I don't think it's that level. If you have to play 2 matches away from home, and as I say, one other team has two home games, so I think the CC. I don't think these fixtures are going to be set, or maybe they are set in stone. But I think in terms of, I think maybe in fairness to the whole 8 teams is going to be in that Super 8, that they're all playing on the one pitch, and at the minute there seems to be a slight edge towards Dublin. The fact that they have 2 home games, and basically we're ending up with 2 away games.
I'm sure it's something that comes up around the dressing room when you're at training. And we've seen this week that when teams and when players do take a stand, that maybe for the first time ever, the GAA have had to listen, and maybe it has set some sort of a precedent. Is this something that the squad have spoken about, that, no, in fairness, we want this game played at a neutral venue, or do you just have to suck it up and turn up in Croke Park in a couple of weeks' time?
Well, listen, in terms of, we speak about fairness, in terms of about fairness, I think, if you were, Donegal were to play Dublin and someone said the game's going to be played at a neutral venue, then you would expect somewhere like Cavan, like Clonus, like, at a neutral venue, not going into Dublin's backyard to play a match, which is a so-called neutral match. But listen, now the players, in fairness, when we get back in this week, it's just about getting their heads down and getting back at it. So we leave that to the authorities to deal with that there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, listen, the CCC will, as I say, the fixtures are still to come out, and I presume the CCC will be sitting, and I'm sure they'll take note of that there. And I know there's been a fair amount of talk in the media during the week about it. And so we'll wait and see what exactly is going to happen. But I think maybe in the interest of fair play and maybe a bit of common sense, then let's have a look at it.
Yeah, certainly the feeling from the GAA when they were talking to us during the week was that it was a Croke Park round of fixtures rather than the neutral venue, and when counties voted this in Congress, that this is what they had accepted, and if there's going to be a change, maybe we'll have to wait till next year. Now, as you say, your understanding is maybe that it's not 100% set in stone yet. Is like, if conversations been had at county board level, that we need to talk to the GAA, need to talk to the CCCC about what's going to happen, that ultimately, as we say, this game, in the interest of fairness, from Donegal's point of view, shouldn't take place at Croke Park?
Well, I think, listen, there's been discussions, but, I've spoken to other inter-county managers during the weekend in terms of Dublin. They have been the top team for the last 3-4 years now. They're basically unbeatable in Croke Park. So already there's an unfair advantage in terms of the fact that Dublin have 2 games in Croke Park. And as I say, we're basically playing 2 away games. And even from a Donegal perspective, we feel, listen, we won the Ulster Championship, and basically, to me, by winning your provincial title, I think the first match in the group stages should be played at your home venue. I think that's the least we could have done. Ultimately, we've ended up playing our home match at the very, very end. And who knows by that stage what will have happened. So that's not the ideal scenario, as I say, but from my point of view, listen, we just keep the head down. We have a lot of work to do on the training ground, and we've got to get ourselves ready for that Dublin game, wherever that's going to be. Yeah,
because I guess Cian O'Neill has set the template for inter-county managers this week when he went on 6-1 and said it's Newbridge or nowhere, and ultimately they got that. Like, I know we're still a couple of weeks away. Like, is that where you're? There was
a statement from Croke Park saying that they weren't going to move, and tickets went on sale, I think, that last Monday. But in fairness to Cian O'Neill and Newbridge, and quite rightly, I mean, Kildare were entitled. They were drawn out first. The match was in Newbridge, and whether it could hold 3,000 or 23,000, then it was their home venue. That's the fast and hard rules of it, you know.
I guess what I'm asking is, if next week, when all the qualifiers are done, and on the Monday the fixtures come out, and Donegal against Dublin is fixed for Croke Park, are you going to be there?
Listen, we're going to have to sit down again. Listen, our county board and officials are at the minute talking about it, and so we'll just have to wait and see. And I know Croke Park will be aware of it, so we'll just wait and see what the outcome is now, you know.
Yeah, and you say it's not even the only issue, because, listen, we don't know how the draw is going to go, but theoretically you could end up playing Dublin and Croke Park first day out, Mayo and McHale Park second day out, and then end up facing a qualifier in Ballybuffet in your third game, which really, as you say, as provincial champions, having to wait till your final game of the group stage, and who knows how the first two games going, it really doesn't seem right.
No, you know, and as I say, it's something out of our control, and but at the same time, it's something that, because when the original fixtures came out way back, I think maybe not the fixtures, but the layout of the Super 8, at that stage in round one, it was, I think, the Ulster v Leinster, which at the neutral venue, and the Munster v Connacht at the neutral venue. Okay, that'll go ahead. Round two had it slightly changed now. At that stage, it was Ulster v the Munster runners-up away, and the third round was Ulster v Connacht, so that has changed now. Our round two is going to be against the Connacht runners-up, so Roscommon or whoever, away, and now round three has put us up against Munster. So they've already changed it for some reason. I'm not too sure why that change has taken place, but when the fixtures or the reviewed Super 8s came out last Monday, that was the reviewed schedule, you know.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting couple of weeks, because, as you say, Kildare have probably set a precedent, and finally these sort of issues around the integrity and home advantage, and whether Croke Park is Dublin's home pitch. I know Alan Brogan was online this week saying, well, how can it be their home pitch when they don't ever get to train at Croke Park, but ultimately they play the vast majority of their games there. Presuming that you're there and you're playing Dublin at Croke Park in 2 weeks' time, is this challenge against one of the greatest teams of all time? Do you feel it's coming at a good stage in the season for Donegal?
Listen, Dublin, well, you know, Dublin are the top team. That's you know, and fair play to Jim Gavin and the players. He's developed a system of play. He's developed a group of players, and there's young lads coming through there all the time, and they've those senior, experienced lads that have been about, that have won numerous All-Ireland titles now. So yeah, there's going to be a difficult challenge. There's no doubt about that there, but it's one that we're looking forward to. It's one that's going to real challenge us, and as I say, in preparations, once we got Sunday and Monday out of the road, it's back into it on Tuesday, so getting ready for this big challenge ahead. Yeah,
just before we wrap up then, and you've been very good with your time and very honest about what might happen over the next couple of weeks, is your sense then, from being around inter-county players again this season, that there is a feeling of just been fed up with the way that the senior inter-county scene has been set up, that how can we get to a situation like this where you've been asked to go to Croke Park for the first game, that the players, that they're together, that they feel ready to start making stands about issue like this?
Yeah, listen, in fairness to players, and you know, I've been dealing with players for a good number of years, and the group of players that we have in there at the minute, yes, they probably talk among themselves about it, but the one thing those guys want to do is go out in the training ground, train, play their games, but at the same time, yeah, it's got to be done in a way, as I said, when you look at the Super 8, it has to be, the playing pitch has to be level for all 8 teams in that, and the fact that, as I say, one team in our group is going to end up with 2 home matches, and ourselves going to end up with 2 away games. To me, that's if we had 2 games in Ballybuffet, we'd be pretty confident, and you know, that's just the way it is. And but it's just not a level playing field, and I think it's something that needs to be looked at, and probably something that needs to be addressed very, very quickly.